Whoa, crikey, I'm in Australia. G'day guys, Endurance Aaron here, and today we are going to talk about the new Alphafly 3s. And just a quick disclaimer, they don't actually teleport you to Australia. I'm going to go hit the pavement, I'm going to test these new babies out and see if they live up to the hype, especially the price tag, right? Oh yeah, they good, they bouncy. We're going to teleport back to the UK and I'm going to give you that full review. See you there. Right, welcome back to sunny UK, where we're going to have a look at these puppies. Wish I was still in Australia. Right, let's get rid of these, shall we? Before we move on, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I know you can see it's just down there. For those of you who have subscribed, watched my videos, commented, liked, I really appreciate you. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch my videos. Do you know? Do I know? What do I know about these shoes? Well, what do I know about any shoes? I'm actually a shoey. I would even skip school just to work with these babies. I spent a lot of my time working at Foot Locker, including some of the biggest Foot Lockers in the world. Chadstone, Victoria, moved to Canada, managing the second biggest Foot Locker in Canada. So when it comes to shoes, I know about them. Right, starting with the beautiful box. Just beautiful colorway. This is the second colorway of the Alphafly 3s. So let's talk about first impressions of these fresh kicks. They're kind of like Vegemite. You either love them or hate them. The one thing I wasn't a massive fan of, where I think it kind of makes it look a little bit cheap, is obviously at the forefoot here. It isn't fully colored in, so it does make it look a little bit cheap. And considering the price point of these shoes, you just kind of thought, well, you know, you could have finished the paint job. So who is this shoe for? This shoe is for serious racers. The reason I say that is because they are designed for midsole to forefoot landing. A lot of us, especially endurance athletes, have a lot more of a heel strike. If you are a heel striker, these are not for you. Other first impressions right off the bat, as expected, you know it's going to come in super lightweight. So checking out the weight of these puppies, 243 grams, super lightweight. Let's switch those babies over. So you can see the first version here in the same colorway is 255. So you got a saving of just over 10 grams. That saving mainly came from in and around the air pocket here underneath. There was a lot of tread on the first version, which added those extra 10 grams. A good comparison in weight, if you're looking at something like a trail shoe, my Hoka Speed Goat 5s here, you're looking at almost 100 grams. So when it comes to lightweight race shoes, you're probably not going to find a better shoe out on the market right now. I guess that's how they justify the price, right? Did I have any expectations for these shoes? I expected them to be better than the first version of the Alphafly Next Percent, and they really are. So these ones really had quite a high arch and people were getting blisters on their feet. So what Nike have done, they've flattened that out and it is still there. You can feel it, but it's not as prominent and it's not rubbing on the inside of my arch. So that's one improvement they've made on this shoe, which is amazing. The Alphafly 1 was really designed for a forefoot strike runner. So the word that comes to mind when I'm talking about the sole and the transition of this shoe in comparison to the Alphafly Next Percent is efficient. Efficient transition. Other words that come to mind, firm, stable. The sole itself is what is called a Zoom X foam that they do use. Although they are stacked with cushion and have a massive stack height, I felt that moving left to right, I was never really in danger of rolling my ankle. As you can see right throughout here, the midsole of the shoe has what's called a fly plate. Now these are highly controversial. A lot of people arguing that they shouldn't be in shoes because what it does is it adds a little bit of a snappier ride, almost as if you're getting an energy return every step that you're taking. So finishing off on that sole, you still get the loud foot strikes. People are gonna hear you coming. However, that's not the worst thing, right? Have a listen to this. So you've got not just a bright color, you've got a loud foot strike and a squeak. You're gonna be noticed. Overall, that sole, I'm giving it a solid 8 out of 10. In terms of the transition, it is really, really fantastic. I absolutely love the transition. However, those loud foot strikes and the squeak just take a little bit of points off there for me. So a good 8 out of 10. Now looking at the stack height of these shoes, Nike Alphafly 3 has a 40mm drop at the back as well as a 32mm drop at the front. So one of my favorite features and something I used to always draw on shoes as a kid when I used to draw sneakers is the air zoom units. So you can see you've got one on each side. So what these air zoom units are designed for is to bring, like the fly plate, a little bit of an energy return to the runner, launching you for your next step. The good thing about that ZoomX foam is it is not only just ultra lightweight and cushion, but you're going to get the same sensation all the way through from your first kilometer all the way to the end of your marathon. So let's have a look at the material upper here. It is known as the Atom Knit 3 upper. Has great containment for getting your foot inside the shoe with your laces done up. Highly breathable. And as you can see here, I'm going to grab my torch. Have a look at that. They also have softer fly knit yarns here for the lacing systems. Where the fly knit is, it has a little bit of a harder material in and around the toe box. Now, I wouldn't recommend getting shoes where your toe is right up the front anyway. Plus, these shoes have a really good containment system that you won't be sliding forward too much. So I wouldn't worry too much about getting any damage on the toe box. These are the Flyknit heel pods. These are really nicely padded and don't protrude as much, so they add that comfort to the back of your Achilles. So much bigger improvement there. All right, so we've spoken about the sole, the fly plate, the cushioning, the stack height, the transition, the Flyknit upper. Let's talk about all the pros and cons of these shoes. First pro, like I mentioned earlier, they are remarkably lightweight despite the size of the shoe. They look heavy, but they are super lightweight. As for breathability, as you saw when I shone the torch through this shoe, it is probably one of the best on the market when it comes to breathability and keeping your feet from overheating. Another pro, this just excels in the marathon distance. Like I said earlier, you're going to have that same feeling in kilometer 1 as you have in kilometer 42. The next pro, of course, is the responsiveness of that ZoomX foam. So that fly plate and that ZoomX foam really help propel you forward, especially when you start to become fatigued and your legs get tired. So the last pro, as I mentioned earlier, and probably the biggest improvement from its predecessor, is the transition. Still does have a bit of a prominent arch in there, as the predecessor had a really high one. 8 to 9 out of 10, I would say, in terms of comfort. Really, really comfortable shoe. The build quality, I would say around about a 7 out of 10. The upper, as I mentioned, I would say probably about an 8 out of 10. However, as I mentioned, the containment system around here holds your foot really nicely. The sole unit and the transition, I'm giving a solid 9 out of 10. The traction's really good on the forefoot and the midsole part of the shoe. That brings me on to the final point, is the price point. They are pretty expensive. These were around about £289. So for the price point, I'm giving that a solid 5 to 6 out of 10. So it'd be really great to see Nike produce a high-end shoe at a more affordable price for everyone. So to summarize this, is this the shoe for you? Well, if you are a triathlete, yes. If you are a marathon runner, yes. If you're an ultra marathon runner, probably not. If you're a heel striker, probably not. Right, thank you for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it. Thank you for all of you who have subscribed to my channel. If you haven't already, please do so in the bottom right-hand corner or left, I'm not sure, one of the corners. There's a subscribe button. Just have a look which one it is. Hit that button. Let me know how you're going in races. I love engaging with you all. So every comment, I try and respond to every single one. I've got a busy month in May, but I look forward to bringing you a lot of that content. We're going to bring you a documentary coming up really soon, and that is going to detail what I'm doing and why. So don't forget to subscribe, and I'll be bringing you that. Thank you, guys. Really appreciate you all.